You know what's scariest? I've been taking care of my 78-year-old father since my mother passed away. My dad eats eggs every morning. He loves eggs fried, scrambled, hard-boiled. He says they give him energy for the day. And honestly, I don't doubt it. Eggs are healthy, right? High in protein, cheap, easy to cook. It seems like the perfect breakfast for seniors. But then, earlier this year, something happened. One morning, right after breakfast, my dad started feeling dizzy. He couldn't stand up without holding onto the wall. I took him to the emergency room right away. A blood test showed that his cholesterol was dangerously high and his triglycerides were higher than normal. The doctor asked me, does he eat a lot of saturated fat or foods high in cholesterol? I said no, he rarely ate meat, no fast food, no avocados. But then I realized he had been eating 2 eggs a day every day for years. The doctor told me something that really stuck with me. Eggs are not bad. But in older people, especially those with slower metabolisms and heart disease risk, it's not just what they eat, it's how often and how they're prepared. That day changed everything. I stopped thinking of eggs as harmless. I started thinking of them as a powerful food. One that can help or hurt depending on how we use them. And that's why I want to share with you 3 egg dishes that I'm currently making for my dad, and one that I'll never make again. After that hospital visit, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I went home and started reading articles, nutrition blogs, medical advice columns, anything I could find about eggs and older adults. I realized I'd been oversimplifying it. Not all egg dishes are the same. A soft-boiled egg, that's gentle on the stomach, lower in oxidized fats, and actually helps support brain health because of its choline. An egg fried in a pan full of oil or butter, that's a different story. It may taste great, but it adds unnecessary saturated fats and calories my dad's heart really doesn't need at this point. I also learned something interesting. It's not just about the egg itself, but what you pair it with. Bacon, sausage, processed meats. Those combinations turn a simple breakfast into a health hazard, so I made a choice. I started trying different ways to prepare eggs. Steamed egg with spinach and carrots. Soft-boiled with a sprinkle of herbs. Even baked egg cups using olive oil spray and veggies. At first, Dad was skeptical. He missed the sizzle of the frying pan, but over time he grew to love the lighter meals. And most importantly, his blood work started getting better. That's when I truly understood. Cooking for someone you love isn't just about making them happy. It's about protecting them without taking away their joy. And since I started taking care of my father, I have come to understand. Cooking for the elderly is not simply about being full, but about the sophistication of even the simplest dishes. Like eggs, for example. Before, I only knew how to boil or fry. But then, after each time my father was full and complained of fatigue, I started to find ways to cook again with empathy. Therefore, I learned the egg dishes that my father should eat. Soft-boiled eggs boiled for exactly 6 minutes then chilled are a dish that retains a lot of choline, is good for memory, and is easy to digest and light on the stomach. Every morning my father ate one. His eyes lit up with joy without needing praise. Then I tried making steamed eggs with vegetables, beat eggs with a little carrot, spinach, steamed like making flan. That dish is not only soft for people with weak teeth, but also bright, like bringing fresh colors to breakfast. On cold days, I make steamed eggs with ginger slices, simply beat with warm water, steam lightly for 7 minutes, but it warms my dad's stomach comfortably. Occasionally, to change the dish, I bake eggs with vegetables in a small mold. No oil, no fat, but still fragrant, soft, can be made in advance for the morning, just need to heat up. Even the light soy sauce-soaked eggs, I also change it, replace fish sauce with low-sodium soy sauce, add a few slices of ginger rich enough without harming blood pressure. I realized that an egg, if cooked properly, not only helps my dad get healthier, but is also a way for me to say I love you every day with something very small, very familiar, but full and warm like my own heart. There was a dish my father used to love: fried eggs with crispy edges, evenly golden, fragrant and fatty, eaten with white rice, and the whole bowl would be clean. In the mornings before, I often fried eggs in a pan of boiling oil, adding a little fish sauce, so that the edges of the eggs were burnt, just the way my father likes. But then one day, during a routine checkup, the doctor told me, "My grandfather has high blood fat index. At this age, he needs to limit fried foods, especially deep-fried foods." I was silent. That seemingly harmless breakfast turned out to be a silent burden on the heart. I started to learn and realized eggs fried in a lot of oil are prone to saturated fat, which is harmful to the elderly. If you use animal butter, margarine, or old oil to fry over and over again, the risk of atherosclerosis, high blood pressure, and even stroke increases. Fried eggs can easily cause bloating and indigestion in the elderly, especially when eaten with hot rice and salty fish sauce. From then on, I changed the way I made them. If my father still wanted to eat fried eggs, I would just use a non-stick pan, lightly brush a layer of olive oil and fry over low heat, not letting them burn. One day I baked eggs with vegetables in the oven, less oil, but still fragrant. After my father finished eating, he still nodded and praised the deliciousness. But I knew that morning's breakfast was not only delicious, but also reassuring. I still remember that morning. After nearly 3 months of adjusting my cooking, I took my father to the hospital for a routine checkup. I was still worried. I didn't know if the small changes in his meals would be enough to make a difference. But then the doctor looked at the test results and smiled. Cholesterol has decreased significantly. Blood lipids are much more stable. Blood pressure is also more stable than before. I was so happy that I cried. It turns out, no complicated medicine is needed, just reducing fried foods, changing the way eggs are cooked, and being a little patient every morning can make a big difference. The doctor added, "Older people can still eat eggs, it's good, because they are rich in protein, choline, and lutein, which are good for memory and vision. But the important thing is the dosage and preparation method. On average, healthy older people can eat 3 to 5 eggs per week. For people with cardiovascular or blood lipid problems, they should eat 2-3 eggs per week, mainly boiled or steamed eggs, avoiding too many yolks if indicated." Since then, I have kept that number in mind as a natural medicine. I don't force my father to abstain completely, nor let him eat indiscriminately. Each egg, from the time it is selected, cooked, and served, becomes a small part of the journey to preserve health and family memories. Taking care of parents when they are old is not easy. Actually, there are days when I feel very tired. There are mornings when I wake up early, just wanting to sleep a little more instead of having to cook breakfast for my father. Sometimes I get discouraged, because if I cook one dish, my mother says it is bland. If I change to another dish, my father says it is hard to swallow. But then one day, while I was cleaning the dishes, I heard my mother whisper to my father, "She cooks something different every day, but every dish is so lovely." I suddenly became silent, because I know what they feel is not whether it is delicious or bad, but the love in each meal. It is the presence. It is the feeling of being cared for. Taking care of the elderly, in fact, does not require anything too complicated. No need for precious medicine, no need for superfoods. Just cook with your heart. Choose dishes with understanding and arrange them with love. A boiled egg just cooked. A bowl of steamed eggs as soft as flan. A slice of ginger in a steamed egg dish. All can become a way for us to say, "I love you," without having to say it. And I also realized, when our parents can still eat well and sit at the dining table, then every meal, no matter how simple, is also a chance for us to give something back for the years they sacrificed for us. Because taking care of the elderly is not just a responsibility, but a journey of love, silent, persistent, and very beautiful. Through each bite of rice, each dish of soup, and even an egg every morning.